Hey guys, what is happening? Niad here with Film Comics Explained. I have a surprise for you. Something I've been meaning to do since the inception of this channel, but I had to test the waters and see how you felt. You guys have responded favorably to the Aliens universe, and seem to love Predator vs. Dredd. It's with this that I have decided to tackle Predator vs. Dredd vs. Aliens. Yeah, you're welcome. Predator vs. Judge Dredd vs. Aliens is a 4-issue limited crossover comic book series that was published by Dark Horse Comics, IDW, and 2000 AD, between July 2016 and June 2017. Yes, that's right, they literally just finished the 4th issue. The story was written by John Layman, illustrated and inked by Chris Mooneyham, and coloured by Michael Ayiyeh. I have to admit, this is a bit dark and strange at times. It has a very Island of Dr. Moreau feel about it, without spoiling anything further. But I loved it, and found it refreshing. I hope you guys can also dig it. With that in mind, let's jump right in. We pick up a few weeks back as we are given a brief introduction to the Predators. We can see that one is running through a jungle. We are told that he comes from the sky, from a culture of hunters who are a species known, respected, and feared throughout the galaxy. Their skills are explained to us as we are told they are experts at camouflage and combat, adept at stalking, surviving, trapping, and tracking, known to take trophies of their kills. We are told Predators are a member of the Yachwa, the High Q-10. What we also notice is that he is injured. He is bleeding from his right hip and his laser appears to be malfunctioning. We are told that today, he isn't a hunter. He is something else. We see that the Predator takes off a small red device and throws it behind him as he continues to run. We then see spears flying in from the distance. One of them penetrates his armor and goes through his shoulder, as we are told he is the prey. He is hurt in a bad way and collapses as dark figures begin to emerge, saying that he is a funny looking critter. What we then see is one of the most bizarre things, as a gorilla, bear, rhino and raccoon that appear to be part human start telling the Predator that around here it isn't a crime to be funny looking, but it was a crime to trespass. We hear the sound of the Predator being bludgeoned and see the spatter of his blood, as they tell him they don't tolerate trespassers. What we then see is that there are a few more animal-human hybrids that have found the Predator's ship. One of them, called Buck, gets a message via radio that they have captured the Trespasser and that he doesn't look local. Buck tells them that they too have found his spaceship. This is where we find out that there is also another alien in Megacity 1, but that it looked different to the Predator. Buck tells the others that their leader Doc Reinstadt is going to want him in the lab to take its DNA. We're starting to understand that the Doc might be the one responsible for creating these animals. The other group asks whether he needed to be alive, as we can see there are 3 spears coming out of his body. We are told he is barely alive as we notice the red device in the corner. Now Buck basically tells them to make sure he stays alive or the Doc will have their heads. At that moment, he is interrupted by the Croc, who tells him he needs to take a look inside the ship. As they walk through the interior of the alien ship, they see the impressive array of weapons and surmise that they were lucky they never gave him a chance to use any of it. It's at this moment Buck is directed towards the trophy room. Buck orders them to retrieve the weapons and also to have the trophy sent to Doc's lab. What is explained to us is that not only did Doc create them, but we are told that with the right DNA, the Doc can do almost anything. We arrive to the present time where Judge Dredd is leading a group of judges through the cursed Earth. Following the atomic wars of 2070, most of the United States became a radioactive wasteland, with only the 3 megacities surviving on the East Coast, California, and Texas. The remainder of the country became known as the Cursed Earth. Although considered unfit for human habitation, the Cursed Earth is populated by all manner of creatures, scraping and living in a tough environment. Since the atomic wars, genetic mutations appeared. Mutants were banned from living in the cities, so they were forced to make their homes in the Cursed Earth. The communities are mostly poor, rural groupings with no industry, often dominated by quasi-religious movements. The judges appear to be hundreds of miles away from Megacity 1. This is a long distance for them to stray. We are told his role as a judge has brought him here to the atomic wasteland, to serve justice and to uphold the law. The 4 judges pull up outside Smeg's saloon as Dredd gives the inhabitants a warning. He tells the criminals inside that he is Dredd, and that they have 3 seconds to surrender. He tells them that if they don't, he is going to come in there and make them wish they had. That's not an empty threat, my friends. Dredd will deliver on this promise. He counts to 3, and then flings the door open. We can see some unsavory looking characters, as well as a poster to the right with a judge with an arrow going through his head. This confirms what we know about people living out here. They are essentially outcasts who have been banished from the cities due to mutation, and their resentment for the judges is understandable. One of them tells Dredd that they don't want trouble, and Dredd says it's already arrived. He tells the whole saloon that they are after terrorist fugitives who worship a robot cultist, trying to bring about another apocalypse. Anderson does a scan of the room and informs him that she can sense fear and deception. Dredd informs us that the terrorists had burned down half of an apartment block on the orders of a mad robot. We know that each apartment block houses 50,000 people, so this is just an insane attack. Dredd moves towards one of them, saying that he can smell the fear on them, before smashing one of their faces into the table to reveal he had a holographic mask on. The criminals realize that judges are onto them and decide to attack. We can see one of the judges getting hit in the face by a club while Anderson dodges a knife attack. One of the terrorists swings at the back of Dredd's face, and we see the coolest thing, as Dredd instinctively swings his hand around to block. He tells the perp that was an attempted assault on a judge, and that was going to add an extra 20 years to his sentence. Dredd then strikes him to the ground and orders the other judges to end this battle quickly. Anderson tells him she's breaking faces as fast as she can, as a beer is flung into Dredd's helmet. Dredd also notices one of them getting away. He grabs 2 of the perps on either side of him and bashes their heads together. He then walks outside to the fleeing terrorist and orders a heat seeker command to his lawgiver. He then fires a shot which enters the right shoulder of the perp. As Dredd approaches the body, he tells him to inform him about the exact whereabouts of his robotic messiah. The leader has a ridiculous name, which is revealed to be Archbishop Emoji. The fanatic simply tells Dredd that he is too late. The leader had essentially used them as a distraction to make his escape. One of the judges pulls out his binoculars and spots the leader entering the thick wildlands. A mutant from the bar informs Dredd that the robot was heading into the Alabama morass, swamps and jungles known to be the weirdest parts of the cursed earth. He advises the judge to let him go, as he is already dead. He says there are weird, unnatural folk who live there and who don't appreciate trespassers. He warns them that nobody who has gone in has ever made it out alive. He tells Dredd that to enter there is against the law, to which Dredd replies, "I am the law." We arrive at Doc Reinstadt's lab, where he is analyzing the alien skeleton. He marvels at its design, saying it was created to survive, evolve, and adapt to any environment. He was so impressed with its design and creation that he even suggests divine influence. He tells us that he was responsible for the hybrid creatures that we saw before. He informs us that he had spliced their DNA to make them into something new and wonderful. It's here that we can see the Predator is still alive. He has been patched up and is restrained. The doc tells him that the Predator is almost as impressive as his creations, but holds up the facehugger as he tells him he is nothing compared to this. What we begin to understand was that the doc was able to use a few strands of DNA from the alien skeleton to create a facehugger in only a few days. He is clearly a highly skilled geneticist. He says that he has something incredible today, but with his help, he will have something even more magnificent tomorrow. We can now see him attempting to attach the facehugger to the Predator. While he is doing this, he is interrupted by Buck. Buck tells him that they have a problem as their scouts have reported more trespassers. Now, the doc says that he was already aware as we see the faces of Judge Dredd and the robot Messiah on the screens beside him. He tells Buck that they had tripped his surveillance bots as soon as they entered the perimeter of his domain. He also tells Buck to bring them all to him as he is planning on infecting them with more facehuggers that he had created. He also lets us know that they have more trespassers. It's here that we see 4 predators who have arrived in response to the distress signal sent by their kin. And that is the end of Volume 1. Man, this shit is about to get real. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. We'll be back with the second chapter in a few days. If you enjoyed this, don't forget to hit like and to subscribe to stay up to date on all my content. I'm Nihat with Film Comics Explained. Thanks for stopping by.